Hello everyone, welcome to the Raggy encounter, the final boss in this new Firelands patch. I've got a lot to get through, so I've made this slightly more bullet pointed than usual. So let's get straight to it. First of all, the Raggy fight is split into 3 phases plus 2 transition phases. So, Phase 1. Position the raid with the tanks on the right and the melee on the left, or vice versa, and ranged within the broken circle in front of the boss. This way healers aren't stretched out and your magma trap detonator doesn't run around the room. Running around the room does 2 things: 1. Lowers the raid DPS, and 2. Causes problems when moving into a transition phase, in particular if the trap is far away from where the detonator needs to be. Phase 1 is a standard tank and spank scenario with a few minor effects. First, Raggy has an ability called Burning Wound, which stacks on your tank with every hit. After about 3 to 4 tanks, swap tanks, allowing the debuff to wear off. This mechanic exists for the entire encounter. Second, Sulphurous Smash. Raggy smashes his hammer into the floor, the location of which is indicated by a triangle of circles. Do not be under the hammer. When the hammer lands, 3 lava waves project outwards, the width of which expands to twice its initial size within 2 seconds, so be careful. I've included an image below to show the safe zones. If hit by the wave, the debuff received needs to be dispelled, not healed through. That's important. Third, Magma Trap. Cast on a player's location, indicated by a flame swirl on the floor. This slow-moving missile hits that location within a few seconds, so move away. On landing, the swirl erupts into a solid circle of flame with a distinct edge. If you get caught, you won't die, but will take damage and have a chance of detonating the trap. When they detonate, they do around 80k damage to the whole raid. To deal with these, allocate a detonator. The detonator needs to watch raid health and detonate traps without killing anyone. The detonator also needs some form of slow fall ability to survive. We found a mage is best suited to this due to blink. Detonate these as soon as possible and make sure that none remain before you hit the transition. Make sure all players stand away from these traps. Why? Well, Raggy has an effect called Wrath of Ragnaros. This targets a single player with a 6-yard AoE range, inflicts 60k damage and causes knockback. To avoid the AoE, ranged remains spread, however this knockback direction can be random, hence stay away from all traps unless you're the detonator. There is a safe zone from the above effects in melee. However, ranged and particular healers must stand further away, as Ragnaros periodically casts an effect called Hand of Ragnaros, which knocks all in melee back, causing spell lockout for 5 to 6 seconds. Okay, that deals with phase 1 and moves us nicely into the first transition phase. The transition phase occurs at 70%, indicated by Raggy throwing his hammer to the ground, causing 8 columns of flame to appear all around the platform edge. The hammer falls in one of 3 locations, causing a column split of 2-6, 4-4 or 6-2. That is to say, 2-6 means from left to right there are 2 columns, then the hammer, then 6 columns. Each column spawns a single sun of flame, with those nearest the hammer spawning first. The goal of these adds is to reach the hammer. If any do, there will be a raid-wide explosion, virtually guaranteeing a wipe. To prevent them from reaching the hammer, they must be killed but can also be stunned. The problem here is, for every 5% health above 50% they move 75% faster. So this is where some raid preparation is crucial. With a total of 8 adds, stuns are highly beneficial, but burst damage is worth a lot more. We gave players left or right allocations depending upon the 2-6, 4-4 or 6-2 formation. Ranged, take out the nearest quickly, while melee stun the targets further away and swap targets to DPS the mobs down to 50% health. Ranged, stay close to the hammer so stuns from both sides can be hit with little to no movement. Target swapping here is key. The idea is to reduce all adds health to less than 50% to reduce movement speed. Kill any you can, but target swap to any higher health mob whose movement speed endangers the raid. Note as well that some will move through the lava where melee can't reach, so ranged need to be able to take them out. You have 45 seconds to kill everything, or they explode anyway. Don't forget extra tricks you can bring here, such as Balanced Druid knockbacks and Death Knight's Death Grip to pull them away from the hammer. Assuming this all goes to plan, phase 2 begins. At this point it's time to describe 2 locations in front of the boss. First is the broken circle in front of the boss that contains most of the runes, the edges of which ranged will stand on during phase 2. The second is directly in front of the boss on a lightly coloured rim surrounding his lava, a location which is used to dodge the hammer strikes whilst dealing with adds in phase 2. Position the raid and DPS Raggy, taking care to avoid continued hammer smashes. After a short period of time, Raggy will cast Molten Seed, causing molten seeds to appear at random players' feet. If a player doesn't move away before the seed is fully formed, anyone within 6 yards of that seed takes 55k damage. As soon as the seeds start to form, all players should move to the second location right on the rim next to the boss. This is a safe location from any hammer strikes. Initiate damage reducing effects such as raid walls and AoE heals as each seed explodes. Potential damage caused by seeds drops as you move away, so the centralized position works well. After the explosions, each seed will have left behind a molten elemental. Stay on your current location and let these new adds come to your group. Each add has one player targeted with no option for taunts. Kill them with AoE as a team and move back to your previous location, rinse and repeat. For a new team you can expect 3 lots of molten seeds to deal with. However, just to add more complexity to the mix, there is an additional effect called Engulfing Flame. Raggy casts this in one of 3 locations represented by a room-wide set of pulsing black and red circles on the floor. The actual location is either on the edge of the room where you walk in, right next to him, or halfway between the two. Players need to move off the flame or be killed pretty quickly. The complication, however, arrives when this is cast under you when dealing with molten elementals or moving away from seeds. For the elementals, the whole team then needs to adjust location fast or be wiped. For the seeds, be ready to move to the safe location once the flame is dissipated. Finally, in this phase, stop DPS on Raggy at 43% if you're still dealing with either the seeds or adds. This prevents premature spawning of suns in the second transition phase. Okay, so the second transition phase. Similar to the first, each Sun of Flame should be dealt with as before. However, there are 2 more adds called Lava Scions. Each of the 2 tanks should pick one and move to the Raggy tank position. This does mean you have less DPS and stuns on the Suns of Flame, so move to take them down fast. Kill the Suns, then kill the Scions, starting with the one that's on the next Raggy tank. Watch out though, these Scions periodically cast blazing heat, causing fire to erupt under a player's feet for a few seconds. If you stand still, each eruption causes 50k damage. If you have this effect, run to the edge of the room and around the edge, keeping the pools of fire away from the rest of the team. The fire also, if underneath a Scion or Sun, heals them for 10% of health per second, so make sure you steer them away or kill them before it happens. From this point, Raggy will continue to cast Engulfing Flame for the rest of the encounter. Now we reach phase 3. First, change your ranged position. Place the healers within the broken circle and all other range split left and right as far away as possible. This is because of the final effect that Raggy creates called Living Meteor. A large rolling ball of rock and flame is cast into the room and fixates on a player. This also has a small fiery effect on the floor indicating its spawn location, so players should move away. The meteor moves slowly towards the fixated player, indicated by a distinctive purple line between the two. The fixated player needs to count the meteor for as long as possible, avoiding hitting other players with it until it gets too close. If the meteor hits any player, fixated or not, it will explode, killing that player. When the meteor gets close, the fixated player bounces it back and away by damaging it with a ranged effect. The meteor then gets knocked back and fixates on someone else. Do not knock the meteor back into someone else when you do this. Be careful about your location and where it's going to go. Players should be moving away when any meteor gets close, fixated or not, because when the fixated player hits the meteor, they could be next in line to be targeted by it, and you're going to need some running room. So from this point, really, it's a race against time. Every 30, maybe 45 seconds, another meteor will be cast, and so on until there are too many to handle in the room. You can expect around 4 with a good kill for a new team. Communication on TS or Vent is key here, as healers may ask somebody to hit their meteor for them. As soon as you hit phase 3, launch heroism before any meteors appear if you haven't already used it for the second transition. Finally, if using a combat res in this phase, pick DPS over healers, as you can survive this phase with good kiters and 1 healer. Well, that was a lot of text. Okay, well, there we go pretty much. The fight is effectively over when Raggy's health reaches 10%, and there's lots of things to dodge and more mechanics to take care of the further you get into this fight. Long gone are the days of tank and spank, and I'm actually quite grateful for that. So that's about it really. Good luck with the encounter. There's a lot to this one, but it's a whole load of fun in the process. See you later.
Hammer. New meteor.
Okay, I've got this one. No, I've got it.
I need this one off me.
Got it.
Nice.
That's built.
Yes! Yes!
Really well done.
Good job, guys.
Nice. It's in there.
There was really good communication at the end. That's what got it, I think.
Alright, hands out of the chest, please.
Congrats, guys.
I'll get you.